Hello. So I wanted to quickly go over for loops, while loops, and do while loops. Um, for people new to programming, these understanding when to use them can be kind of difficult. So I thought I would just go over them real quick. For loops, they to me are the easiest. I have two examples here. The first is just a simple test. Essentially, what we do is for this application, we're going to see see what our last row is in the worksheet, um, and we're going to look in column one. So we're going to look all the way down column one to find the last empty row. Um, and then we're going to print out the values that are in that row, but in the first column. So in the worksheet, it goes up to 31. And so we do 4, and then I is going to be our count variable. So we're going to say I is equal to 1. So we're going to start at row 1, and then we're going to go all the way till the last row. And so if you guys haven't utilized any of the locals, the watches, or the immediate window, I really do suggest use them. They're great for debugging. You can get them by clicking View, Immediate, Local, and Watch. And so Immediate is good for using the debug feature, debug.print. Locals are really nice because it gives you like a little snapshot of the subroutine or any global variables that you're using. So any variables like within here um, that we're going to be using as well as watch, you can add in the variables. So I'll show you a little bit about that as well. But um, if I click play right now, see this is my subroutine. Um, and this is I and L row. So the two things that I've defined or declared. And so we'll see that when we step over, or step into, either way in this case. I'm gonna just hit F8, but we're gonna step over it. Um, L row got added, so we're 31. That's correct. And we can also just add that to the watch. So two different ways of doing it. Watch is cool because you can be like, oh shoot, what is my active sheet? Like what's that called? Oh, it's sheet one. Cool. But you can kind of just add in whatever you want, and if it even if it's not a declared variable. But either way, so L row is 31, and so we're going to kind of increment by one. So we're going to print one, and then we're going to increment to two, print two, um, all the way up till 31. And what we can also do, and that's like the most basic for loop. So you feed it a start and an end, and it executes. Um, Another option is to use this step. I've used this a bunch. It's super useful if you want to get, say, the odd rows, or if you want to step backwards. So if you want to start, a lot of what I was doing was validating data. And so I would start at the last column and just kind of delete from the last one up if I needed to, because if you start from column one and check to see if you need that column and then you delete it, you're now offset one column. And so um, this is useful in that application. There's plenty of other applications but that it's useful for. But yeah, so and by the way, this is a breakpoint. If you've never used them, it basically indicates to the PC to stop at a certain line of code. And so I'm doing this simply for visuals. But here, again, last row is 31. And we're going to now start at last row. So we're going to say I is equal to last row, which is 31. And we're going to take a step of -1 all the way down to 1. So we'll see. Let me clear this out. We'll see that it starts at 31 and goes all the way down to 1 until we exit the subroutine. So these are super useful for doing things X amount of times. Now do and do whiles and while loops are a little bit different. Finding a like super easy to understand application for these is somewhat tricky because it's just easier to do it on the fly and determine what you need on the fly. But for if you don't know how to determine it, try to figure something out here. So the big difference between do whiles and whiles are that do whiles will execute the loop one time before determining if it needs to move on, while or checking that the uh, not the parameter, but it makes a check on a variable to see if we need to continue to loop. Well, the while loop will do the check first and then execute the loop. And so this is a test for a do while loop. And so we essentially, I'm asking the user to input a number. And then I check that number. If they guessed it correctly, then we go ahead and exit. And so you can see that I've assigned a number to the user input. I'm asking them to enter number 1 through 10. And then if it is not 4, then we exit. Or if it's not 4, we loop back and we ask them again. If it is 4, then we say, "You're correct. Thanks for playing." And so this is what it looks like. All right, so I'm gonna just start from 1. Is 1 it? No. 2 it? No. 3 it? No. 4 it? Yep, that's it. And so that's what it does. If we use a while loop, we would have to ask the user to input a number before the while loop and then check it. And then it would look like something like this. While answer is not equal 4, and then we would have to ask here, and we'd also have to ask inside. And so this is just kind of a way to it does whatever you want to loop at least one time. It checks to it checks to see if you've um, satisfied the expression. If you have, kicks it out. If you haven't, it just keeps looping. You can get stuck in while forever loops, so just be cautious of that. Make sure that you have an exit and that exit is obtainable. Otherwise, it will kind of like lock the application out. The other part, the while loop. While I use a lot, do while not very much. While it's usually while or the for loop. So while is cool. I do it for a variety of different applications. One I came across recently was I had a delay function and I didn't want to write more delay functions, and so just being lazy, I threw a while in there, and so this is kind of a very simplistic approach to what I was doing. I have a time to delay, so this is how long am I going to make each delay. So this sleep, it takes in microseconds. I want to say it maxes out at 1,000, which is 1 second. So I'm going to feed it 100 seconds, and I'm going to try to go for a full delay of 1,000 milliseconds or 1 second. I'm going to do that by calling the sleep function 10 times, and we'll just kind of see as it goes through. I have a print function at the end that tells us the actual time. So there's a lot going here than just more of than just a while loop. But this is how long I want it to delay. This is my total delay time that we're going to track this. And then the starting time. So this is an actual timer that you can use through VBA to keep track of time real time. You take you assign the timer to a value before, and then you get the value at the end. So this is timer. So this is the end time, which is definitely going to be larger than the start time. So we're going to take the end time minus the start time, and then we're going to format it into 2 decimal points. And so let's just get going. Here you can see I have my variable set up. I want to delay 10 times and I want to delay at 100 milliseconds. And so I've already started my timer, and so you can see it's actually going to be like way out of whack because this breakpoint. But if I let this run, uh, it says that we delayed 27 seconds, which we did because I was paused. But if we run it again, we'll get a delay time of 1 second. And evidently, I forgot to throw in a new line. So let's redo that. All right. So we have the delay of 0.98, which is essentially or 0.99, which is 1 second. So it's working. If we walk through this again, just to get a little better look at it, we're going to hit the delay time is so total time delayed is 0. We're going to delay 100 milliseconds, and then we're going to go ahead and do increment the total delay time. And as long as, I guess I should, so total delay is 0, then 100, then 200, then 300, then 400, then 500, then 600, 700, 800, and finally 900. Now 900 is not less than 900, and so it kicks it out, and we print our total time. So yeah, that is a few different applications for the for loops, the do loops, the do whiles, and the while loops. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out, comment. I'll see it. If you guys have other things that you want to see that you have questions about, please just add the comment in, and I'll make a video. So. Or if you want to see more in depth about the sleep function or the timer function or anything like that, just let me know. I do appreciate you guys and have a good one.